Tech wreck, time to get your tech wreck.
Tech wreck. Chicky.
Tech wreck. Time to get your tech wreck.
All right, Sanjay, it's Tech Wreck time. What do you have for us this week?
So, you crazy kids have been talking about this AI stuff for a while.
Yeah.
And I thought, I guess it's just not going away. I guess it's time for me to check it out. So I started checking out two systems. OpenAI, I know you're a big fan of ChatGPT. I paid for an account on there. I also paid for an account on Claude, which is by Anthropic. And so that's actually my recommendation, Claude by Anthropic. And I'll tell you why I recommend that. There are other use cases I think OpenAI and ChatGPT are better for. But Claude is very security-based kind of AI. It does not have access to the live internet. So there's one downside of it. If you try to ask it things about what's currently going on, like, give us the last 10 news articles, tech news articles in the last week, it's not going to be able to give you that. But I find that it does a really, really good job in crafting content. I've given the same prompts to both ChatGPT and Claude, and the Claude output is just a bit better. I mean, it's a noticeable difference in it. Now, does it matter enough? Maybe, maybe not. But I've had it do things for me like, hey, build me a marketing plan for this, or build me a business plan for that. And it starts with kind of a base structure. And then he's like, okay, add more detail. Okay, make it a narrative style. And it does a really, really good job of doing all of that stuff. And honestly, and I think you found this too, is that getting it to do research for you is really the main key time saver of doing this. Like, it's stuff that I could do, but if I could spend that time doing something else, it's just a little bit better. So, $20 a month for Claude, by Anthropic. There's a annual, membership too that, discounts it by a bit. I think it's like $212 or something like that, instead of $240. I'm pretty impressed. I went ahead and paid for the year because I think I'm going to use it enough, but I'll decide in a year if it's worth it or not.
So I do wonder how it would compare. Like you said, like creating content is great. I wonder how it compares to creating your own custom GPT and having that create content, because with a custom GPT, you can have it like write in your own voice. Like, so for example, I've created like an Adam Ghostwriter GPT, and I actually loaded in my entire blog into it as an XML file. And so I'm like, hey, this is my blog. So anything I ask you to write, an email, draft, or whatever, write it in my voice. And it doesn't, I mean, I haven't really messed with it, used it a ton, but it does a pretty good job of that. So, I mean, I wonder how it compares from that.
Yeah. So, Claude has the same thing. It has projects, and chats, and you can upload documents into it for it to use in that project to analyze. And so you can say like, hey, this is my voice. And so from now on, write like that, and it'll do that as well. So I think Claude is, they've put a lot more safety rails in it. Like, you can't upload as much content as you can into ChatGPT. But I also don't worry about my stuff in Claude being used for training data or things like that. Like, they specifically say like, none of the stuff you do is going to be used for training data, for it. So I'm not worried about my stuff leaking out. Yeah.
Like, especially like, for example, like uploading my blog into ChatGPT, it's already public, so who cares? But like, for example, I got like the other day, I got a peek at an SEO strategy for a very high level organization that I certainly should never share with the general public. And I would never load that document into ChatGPT ever. You know? And so, but I can say like, maybe you would into Claude and feel a little safer doing that. So,
and by the way, for our listeners, both ChatGPT and Claude have, well, I don't know if Claude has this or not, but ChatGPT has a temporary, thing too. So if you're asking it something and you don't want it to actually be kept permanently, you can mark the chat temporary, and after 30 days that gets deleted. Claude has something similar. Basically, you can just put it in there and then you can just delete the chat. And then, I think after so many days it gets deleted. So it's not in any history anywhere. So, just keep that in mind as you're using these tools, that if you're doing some of this stuff, if you're using documents that should not be out in the public, be very mindful as to where you're uploading them, because just doing this willy-nilly could be a bad thing. For everybody.
And they do learn about you over time too. So like, for example, I'd asked ChatGPT several things related to my Mini Cooper at the time, which is the car I was driving. And then later I did some kind of chat with it, and it like regurgitated the fact that it knew I had a Mini Cooper. And I was like, whoa, okay. Like, it's learning about me as I'm asking you questions. Like, oh, right. So you do have to like, be aware that it's learning building a model about you.
And there's settings, I think, in both where you can go in and see what it knows about you, and you can delete things out as well. So
I should do that.
Just be aware of that as well. So
yeah, that'd probably be helpful.
Okay. What about you, Adam? What do you have for us this week?
All right. If you're looking for a good gift for someone, I'm going to recommend the Ultra Human Smart Ring. So it's a competitor, for example, to the Aura Smart Ring or Fitbit or whatever. I got tired of wearing an Apple Watch specifically because I had to remember to charge it every day. And then I'd go to work out and it would be dead and that would annoy me. Or I'd want to go to bed and want to track my sleep and it would be dead and that would annoy me. And so the Ultra Human Smart Ring does a great job of like tracking my sleep. It does a really good job of tracking my sleep, probably the best sleep tracker I've ever used.
Really?
It does it. Yeah. And it does things like it tells you like, hey, you need X amount of sleep. And last night you got X amount of sleep. And so you're actually you have 15 minutes of sleep debt. So you need to go to bed between this time and this time tonight to make sure you get enough sleep. So it actually like holistically tracks your sleep to kind of help you feel better, perform better. It tracks your heart rate. It tracks your steps. It tracks your workouts. I mean, basically all the stuff that my Apple Watch did, other than, I mean, I think the Apple Watch will tell you if you're an AFib, for example. I don't think this does that.
Right.
But otherwise, in general, it tracks everything. And my family members ended up getting these as well. And so now, it also tracks stress, which I'm not sure I believe is accurate because it says I'm more stressed than my family. I'm not sure I buy that, but whatever. But the cool thing is like, I can now see, like, I can be like, oh, I wonder how my kid slept last night. And I can go to his thing and see what his sleep score was. And I can see what his activity score is. And I can see what his stress level is. And like same thing with each of my family members that has it. So I'm really enjoying it. The family's really enjoying it. It's been great. And now I'm back to wearing one of my other favorite items, which is a Tree Hut watch, which is a wooden watch.
You used to talk about this all the time on the podcast.
I love this watch. It's so cool. It's a watch made out of wood. It's super lightweight. It's awesome. So anyway,
which finger are you wearing the ring on?
So I had to wear it on my pointer finger.
Okay.
Specifically because my knuckles are very large on my other fingers. And so the ring would slide over the knuckle, but then be too loose on the base of my finger to track. The only finger that it is not like that for me are my pointer fingers and my pinky fingers. And I thought a pinky ring seemed like a bad idea. Like that just seems sort of odd to me.
I feel like that's on brand for you. I don't understand
pinky finger ring might be on brand for me, but I'm a pointer finger and I switch which one it's on based on what I'm doing necessarily. But pointer finger.
I mean, with the fedora, the pinky finger ring, like you've got the whole Italian mobster thing.
You're not wrong.
You're not wrong. Locked in at that point.
You mentioned the fedora. I'll say this. I get more hater comments about my fedora on YouTube Shorts than I did. like there's no other platform that gives me crap about my fedora, but YouTube Shorts does. And I'm like, what is up with you people that you feel the need to like dog on my hat? Like you're watching my video and you want to whatever, man, you do you, that's fine. I don't care, but it just seems so weird to me. So whatever.